Following is a presentation of Jacob Sports.
And welcome in, everyone, to another edition of the National High School Wrestling Show with Henry Racich. Good to be here. I'm Joe Kraus from Jacob Media. He's my partner, Henry Racich, and a great guest tonight, Henry, from my alma mater. That's why I'm going to hang around for the opening 4 or 5 minutes of the show, and then we'll turn the controls over to you, where you'll go one-on-one with Scott Moore, the head coach of Lock Haven University, and then a little bit later on, following Scott, a sophomore sensation from Germantown Academy is going to join us. Should be a pretty good show today on this, the National High School Wrestling Show.
Good stuff, Joe. Nice entry here, man. Good to have a Husky, right? Is that the school?
Bald Eagle.
The Bald Eagles.
What am I thinking of? Bloomsburg. Husky. I'm thinking of Bloomsburg.
That's a bad joke.
That is a bad
joke, Scott, no doubt.
Bloomsburg's too close. I'm already off to a bad start. Do not adjust your screen. If you saw the show last week, it's not a clone or doppelganger. This is the brother of Josh. This is Scott Moore, brother of Josh from Cleveland State. Scott, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it in the middle of the wrestling season, man. I know you got all cylinders firing in all directions here. So appreciate you coming on the show tonight.
Absolutely. It's great to get on and talk about wrestling, talk about our program and the great sport and what it's done for us and the individuals that we've been able to work with and coach and, from that area, from across the state, and obviously in a great school like Lock Haven. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, I mean, my partner here is he's probably in the Broadcasting Hall of Fame at Lock Haven by now. If not, we need to start getting a petition ready. My partner, Joe Kraus, he is proud of that university. He was excited about having one of his own on here.
And I will tell you this, and we talked about it in the pre-show, the power of Lock Haven in the wrestling space is really incredible, Scott. And I know that you lead from the front. And I remember, as we talked about, back in the 85 or 86, I was there from 82 to 86. One of those latter years, it was either 85 or 86 under Coach Turner. That team went undefeated in that season. And I always remembered Lock Haven being defined as a wrestling powerhouse. Still true today, yes?
Absolutely. And you mentioned Coach Neil Turner, one of the great coaches in our history of our program, guys that led a lot of, great wrestling, ended up going to Messiah and ended up passing away a couple of years ago. But one of my mentors when I moved back here, and his son Thane Turner, still one of our committee members here that helps build our program. And yeah, the 80s were a good run. A lot of memories, some tough dual meets going out west, wrestling some really good schools. I've heard a lot about the history, and that's something that's really important to us, is studying the history of the school and recognizing the accomplishments and the guys that laid the foundation before us. And, the gritty days, the 1980s, man, there's some tough guys that came through there, Joe, so I'd expect nothing less from you.
Yeah, well, we're all gritty here, brother. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's good or bad, but my partner's definitely a gritty dude, man.
Yeah, man, I'm a former wrestler when I used to have abs. I mean, hey, Joe, so you were graduating college. I was graduating high school. Joe and I met 15 plus years ago, and we're inseparable since. We came up with this idea to do this National High School Wrestling Show because wrestling's a niche market that just does not get enough love internationally or through like ESPN. You never really see enough love shown towards wrestling. And as a former wrestler, as a former pro boxer, it doesn't get any tougher than wrestling. It's literally mimics life. Wrestling doesn't care about your feelings. Wrestling doesn't care how your day was. Wrestling will kick your butt. And if you don't rise to the challenge, which Coach, I mean, you get a new class of kids in every single year. And before we talk about what you're doing up at Lock Haven, let's take a little step back in time, talk about your career at Penn State. Your junior year, you were an All-American, Big Ten title, 112 matches won in 3 years. That's an incredible pace. You're just a go-get-em, tear-em-up guy. Has that translated into your program up at Lock Haven? Tell us about your experience at Penn State and how you brought it with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're obviously shaped by your experiences, and how you were trained. And I was fortunate to be there at Penn State for 4 years, competed for 3, and then used my last year of eligibility at Virginia. But, the coaching staff up there, some of the incredible leaders, Sammy Henson, Troy Sunderland, to be able to train with guys like Jeremy Hunter that were national champions. So it really came down to discipline and consistency and just understand the sport. And, you mentioned 100 and some wins and the ability to be able to compete and reevaluate, to be able to take every match and learn from it. That was something that I think was important for me. And then just to learn the skill of competition, to be able to go out and compete week in and week out, being healthy and just excited about the opportunity to step on the mat and represent Penn State or whoever you're wrestling. It was a great experience for me. And yeah, as you mentioned, that was something that shaped me and got me into wrestling as far as, competing, but also now coaching and giving back and using those same skill sets that I was fortunate to have from guys like Sammy Henson and Danny Felix. And, you could go on, but the guys that you meet in wrestling, the sacrifice that the coaches put in for their athletes, and then the lessons that you learn through that process, the lessons of discipline is ultimately what makes a good program, what makes a good person, and that makes a good coach in the long run.
So Scott, talk to me a little bit about, because being an older guy, I go to these tournaments every week, and my mind is blown at the skill level of some of these kids coming out of high school. I mean, in fact, some of the highest wrestlers in high school are going into college tournaments and winning and knocking off, college All-Americans. What do you attribute the fast spike, in talent in the wrestling world, opposed to when you were coming up? I know there wasn't as many clubs, and we have D1 coaches coaching 7-year-olds and 8-year-olds now. What has been the most shocking thing that you've noticed about the transformation of this sport?
Yeah, these kids are growing fast. I mean, they're catching on quick. It's a lot of knowledge out there, a lot of information, videos, but ultimately iron sharpens iron. That it's when you're training, you have the opportunity to train with the best through these wrestling clubs. And these kids are traveling all summer long on different teams, going across the country, going to clubs like Marsteller and M2 and these different clubs that these guys are wrestling the best. And then in turn, the recruitment level was increased. So they're getting to see college coaches on a regular basis, teaching technique. They're listening, watching more videos. It's a business now, so these guys are realizing it's an opportunity that they got to invest in themselves, invest in their skill sets. And that's going to be a resource for them to get an education, to get a degree, and an avenue for them to potentially have employment. So it's more than what it was, when we wrestled in the 90s and early 2000s, where it was just something that we were really passionate about. It's now an opportunity to set yourself apart from others. And, if you use your resources, then you have a great example of guys that are doing that now. Obviously the Bassetts and the guys at Bishop McCourt, but you look across the country. I mean, there's guys, as you mentioned, that can compete at a college level in high school, and it's fun to see and it's impressive. And as the sport continues to evolve, the guys that want to be at the top are going to have to work harder and commit to the process at an even greater level if they want to be national champions or All-Americans.
It's a National High School Wrestling Show with Henry Racich. Coach Scott Turner from Lock Haven University is with us today for the show. We're going to pause for a short break. When we come back on the other side of the break, I'll step aside and turn over the controls, and Henry and Scott will continue their conversation on the National High School Wrestling Show, all presented by Faith Christian Academy. Back in a moment.
What if you could earn an MBA fully online in just 10 months for only $9,900? Eastern University's cutting-edge MBA in Organizational Management is designed to fit what you need in an MBA program. Our innovative LifeFlex model offers 100% online classes that you can complete at your own pace within each 7-week semester. We know how hard you work for your money, so we're thrilled to offer our MBA at only $9,900, making our program between 50 to 80% less expensive than most other schools, while ensuring quality and excellence with the support of our expert faculty. We even offer a concentration in business analytics, an essential skill set needed in today's data-driven economy. With start dates every 7 weeks, Eastern's MBA is handcrafted for you and your needs. So what are you waiting for? Apply today at eastern.edu/MBA.
The following is a presentation of Jacob Sports.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the National High School Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Henry Racich, and to my right is head coach Scott Moore from Lock Haven University. Coach, thanks again for coming back out. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
So listen, before we get into as we transition from your accolades in college to now as the head coach at Lock Haven, let's do a quick review of what's going on this season so far. Currently, you're ranked in the top 10 in the MAC, correct?
Yeah, ranked number one on the MAC right now, ahead of Central Michigan. You know, teams like Central Michigan, Northern Illinois, George Mason, Ryder. So, number one of the MAC. Started the year number two, but made some gains. Added a heavyweight transfer that's made a big impact in our program, and with 3-0 in the MAC right now, looking to continue that streak here over the next couple weeks.
Beautiful. Big wins over Wisconsin. You took the title at the Keystone Classic, correct? And even beat up on some local schools here, Penn and Drexel, correct?
Yeah, it was a great event down at the Palestra, and Roger Reyna down at Penn invited us to come down, and just a different mix for our fans. We have a lot of alumni in the Philadelphia area, so to come down and wrestle some great teams, some local teams, as well as Central Michigan, Virginia Tech, and just a good way to kick off our season. And we had a great performance there, and ended up with the team title. So it was a good way to build some confidence for our guys, and also jumpstart the season, and continue to climb as we go.
So, Coach Moore, let me pretend I'm a high school senior or junior, and I'm taking a peek over at your school. Tell me a little bit about your campus and what your school offers for a prospective next level wrestler in college.
Yeah, I mean, starting with the wrestling program, there's just such a history and tradition here with, 46 All-Americans, national champions, guys like Kerry Colat, Grace Simons, Kenny Melchior, who lives right side of Philly, great guy. But just a lot of successful student athletes that have come through our program that are now running businesses. A lot of guys that are in education, teachers, coaches. And so we've, got a strong history, strong tradition, a great support group in our community. Our wrestling matches, we're usually top 20 in NCAA attendance, 1,500, 1,800 fans per match. So it truly is a community, a family-like environment. Get to know your professors. Smaller school, which I think fits a lot of kids nowadays, just getting the individual attention and knowing that you have people looking after you, and being able to build personal relationships with not only the guys on the team, but the coaches, guys in the community, the alumni, your professors. So it's just a close knit community that allows guys to build confidence, focus on the things that are going to help them elevate their game. Lose the distractions, focus on those key areas that can help them do better in school, set them up for success, after graduation. But ultimately, a great training environment. We're in the mountains by the Susquehanna River. So not too far up the road from Happy Valley. So just a great place to nestle in and get to work, build some good relationships, get a good degree. And, like I said, with our program, we do a lot of alumni relations. So we try to connect our guys, not only just in the local community, but across the country, with those that can help them with internships and help them learn more about themselves, and, make sure they're successful after graduation. So it's a win-win. Got a really, great program, great community, a solid history, and a lot of success. So, when you're looking for a school, you got to find something that fits you. And I think Lock Haven is a great fit for a lot of guys coming out of high school.
Yeah, and that area of Pennsylvania is chock full of talent to recruit from. I'm pretty sure you have a long laundry list of guys to look at. But one thing I found interesting is your wrestling program's Division I, but the majority of sports at that campus are Division II, right?
Correct. Yeah, we're Division I. We've been probably for 50 plus years, since the 60s is when we, so that used to be NAIA, and then through some decisions, I think we got grandfathered in based on our success of winning a couple NAIA national team titles. in the 1960s. So we just, have a lot of history and guys that have set the tone from our program that have allowed us to stay Division One. Some really good leadership. You mentioned Coach Turner, Coach Poff, guys that have been through our program that have built the community, built the fan base, and allowed us to continue to stay competitive as a Division One program.
Now, earlier you mentioned that you had a transfer come in, a heavyweight transfer come in. Do you guys deal with, the portal and all, the big football schools are always having kids come in and out of this portal. Is that pretty consistent in the wrestling world?
Yeah, for wrestling, it's a little bit smaller than football or basketball, but yeah, it's a little like shopping. I mean, you get on there and there's an open period, an open portal time where you can get on, and the guys have to go in a portal during that time to be guaranteed not to lose a year of eligibility. So it's, from a small school, we're looking for guys that want to bounce back, maybe to somewhere smaller or come closer to home. Gavin Hoffman was an example, kind of a little bit different though, because he came to Lock Haven to coach and then realized that he had a year left based on a medical red shirt. So we were able to get him in the lineup, currently ranked in the top 20 for us and doing a great job. But we picked up a few other guys last year, Nick Stampolis, James Lido, Caden Dobbins. So yeah, we're trying to get 3 or 4 guys that we can plug into the lineup right away that have experience. And, you see it again, a lot more money in football, basketball, but in wrestling, some of the bigger schools, are picking these guys up, more plucking them away from smaller schools or, giving them an opportunity to compete right away in the lineup. And so not as much money in wrestling, but, we'll see how that changes. And, but yeah, it's about giving the athletes an opportunity to switch schools, get a fresh start and see what they can accomplish, after they go in the portal.
So, Coach, right after your season, I guess you take maybe a week or maybe a day off, and you go diving right into the recruiting process. Will you be at all the state, the PA State Wrestling Championships this year? Do you go there to recruit usually?
Yeah, we usually hit a couple of the states. This year it does fall on the MAC championships, which we're, so we'll be following online, and they have a dead period during NCAA, so you can't recruit during NCAA tournament, which is, just to protect the coaches from, being focused on recruiting rather than, getting their athletes ready for the national championship. But, there are a couple blackout or dead periods that they put in place to either for the coaches or for the athletes. And, but yeah, recruiting's year round. It's about relationships. It's about finding guys that, have connections with guys on the team, or maybe guys that you recruited out of the gate that went to a school further from home. And they're like, well, you know what? I really liked what you guys were talking about, close knit community. And so, it's kids end up in different places based on different circumstances. And, we've always got some good feelers out. Chance Marsteller was a transfer. Kerry Colott was a transfer. Anthony Noto, who's a 2-time All-American for us, was a transfer out of NC State. So, we've had a lot of success with transfers, and but again, it's got to be the right fit. It's not just about trying to find a body. It's someone that you project that fits the culture of your program. That'll be coachable, and that's someone that could, that you think will represent your program on and off the mat in a respectful way.
Are you guys a young team? Are you heavy loaded on the senior end? Are you in the middle? What's the demographic of the club right now?
Yeah, we got a good balance. I mean, overall, we do have 5 or 6 seniors that have made a big impact on our program. I mentioned Anthony Noto. We have a kid named Colin Fegley from Mahoynoy that's done a great job for us. We got Avery Bassett that's a senior. So we've got 4 or 5 guys that are in the lineup, and then we do have a younger mix of guys as well. So it's the cool thing is we have depth this year. So with that, we have some freshmen with the new NCAA rule. You can wrestle 5 competitions. So we're using some of those guys, some of those freshmen in and out of the lineup. As somebody gets hurt or, when you give somebody a break, you're able to utilize some of those younger guys and ultimately give them the experience and the opportunity to see where they might project down the road. But yeah, it's a good balance, good internal leadership, which is ideal. You got to lead from the front as a coach, but you got to have guys in the room that are stepping up, that are outspoken, that are leading by example. And so, yeah, we got a really good mix of guys, and I'm excited that, the culture is really good right now. And these guys are intelligent, hardworking young men. And I'm grateful to be leading them, and we got high expectations as we move through the season.
And coach, it sounds like you have a very strong alumni base and following through that school, over the decades. And that doesn't continue if a new coach, and you're there is this your 7th year or 8th year?
Yeah, like 12th year.
Oh, 12th year. Okay.
Yep.
So if you don't treat the alumni right, you keep track of the history of the old guys. I remember my high school coach had the history of all the guys that came, and then the next guy took it all down. Ever since then, it seemed like
big mistake.
yeah, big mistake, right? Because I was
Well,
one of those names he took off the wall. I was not happy.
Yeah.
Not happy.
Well, it's hard for you as an alumni. It's hard for you to identify with a program that doesn't recognize you as somebody who changed the past, but also accomplished greatness. 100 match winners, conference champions. In our wrestling room, we have all the All-Americans dated back all the way to the 1960s. So their names up there, the weight class. Then we have a national champion wall, which is incredible that we've had, nine national championships, but also, the history dating back to where they were winning NAIA national championships. And that stuff's all important because it's the start, it's the past, present, and future. And if you can involve those guys by having a good Hall of Fame, recognizing different guys every year at different events, then you're also the generosity of these guys is what keeps a program like Lock Haven going. So we're really fortunate to have not only the community support, the alumni support, but having donors that understand that they're making an impact on a program that gave them the opportunity to be great as well.
All right, Coach, listen, I'm going to let you close this segment with give me your living room pitch. You got the recruit you want. He's in front of you. You're in his living room with the parents. Give me a quick Lock Haven pitch.
First and foremost, come home to the Haven. It's a family environment. You got to feel like home, and ultimately, when you feel like you're comfortable in your surroundings and you respect the people you work with, you got a great culture around you. And again, I mentioned the community of Lock Haven. It's Matttown, USA. So it's one of the best wrestling schools you can go to have success, to capture the ultimate prize of trying to win a national championship, enjoying the journey, building strong relationships, being productive on and off the mat. That's what we strive for. And if you want to be great, you got to surround yourself with great people. And we feel like we have those people in Lock Haven, and we have the history to prove it. And we have a great program right now. And, we're adding new guys all the time. We had a top 20 recruiting class last year with some great state champions, guys that were multiple time state placers. So trying to build a room of guys that want to be great, and it's a place to do it.
Oh, I love it, Coach. Sign me up, brother. Sign me up. If I can go back in time, I'd be at Lock Haven myself. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Coach Scott Moore, Lock Haven University. Coach, thanks so much for coming on. We'll check back with you before the end of the season, see how you guys finish up.
Absolutely. You guys are great. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Scott. Have a good one, brother.
What if you could earn an MBA fully online in just 10 months for only $9,900? Eastern University's cutting-edge MBA in Organizational Management is designed to fit what you need in an MBA program. Our innovative LifeFlex model offers 100% online classes that you can complete at your own pace within each 7-week semester. We know how hard you work for your money, so we're thrilled to offer our MBA at only $9,900, making our program between 50 to 80% less expensive than most other schools, while ensuring quality and excellence with the support of our expert faculty. We even offer a concentration in business analytics, an essential skill set needed in today's data-driven economy. With start dates every 7 weeks, Eastern's MBA is handcrafted for you and your needs. So what are you waiting for? Apply today at eastern.edu/MBA.
All right, welcome back, folks, to the National High School Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Henry Racich, and we are here live with Sabag, sophomore sensation from Germantown Academy. How you doing tonight, Shai?
Good, how are you?
Good, man. Just coming from a tough practice?
Yeah, I had my school practice, and then I did a workout at home.
Awesome, man. So listen, you're going to be, let's see, we had the Bachman brothers on in week 2, I believe. We're hitting all the local high schools around here, and you are a sophomore at Germantown Academy. Had a great tournament this weekend, man. You wrestled tough up there at Cold Cracker.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you like a couple seconds to just give me some of your accolades and some of your achievements, some of the things you're most proud about, so far in your high school wrestling career. So any tournament you placed at or anything you want to give yourself a shout out for, I'm giving you the mic. Take it away.
So just my freshman year, I didn't do as much, but I got second at the Cold Cracker tournament, and then I made it to the finals, and then I got fourth at prep states, and I think I should have been able to get third, but I got fourth, lost by a point, and then in national preps, I made it to the round of 12. Had a tough one in the blood rounds. I lost to a kid that's at Princeton now, and then now this year we started off with Beast. I think I did pretty good at Beast, but then I wrestled bad on the second day, and I lost to a kid I should have beat, I think. And then Powerade, at Powerade I 8th, and I think I wrestled pretty good up there. I think I could have maybe pushed up to a few places, but and then for Escape the Rock, I think I wrestled really good. I got a good win in the blood rounds. It was pretty tough. I pulled it out at the last minute left. And then Cold Cracker, most recent one, I made it to the quarterfinals, and then since they didn't seed for the tournament, they did seed, but it was based off of points, and if you're a kid from out of state or a national prep school, you don't get as much seeding points. So I had the 1 seed, the kid that got first in the quarters, and then I just wrestled back for third, got third at that.
Yeah, that seeding at Cold Cracker was a little unusual. I don't really understand how they did some of that stuff, but I just know that it kind of depended on what side of the bracket you were on, what your path would be. And I realized midway through the tournament that if you had wrestled there before, it seems like you got a little higher seed. But
yeah, I wrestled there before too, but I got second and everything, but they still gave me the 8 seed.
So let's talk about your match at Cold Cracker with Joey Bachman, man. Listen, that was a great performance. I know you didn't come out with the win, but you certainly served notice that you're here, you're ready for the big lights, you're working hard. I know you trained down at the River Club too. What an amazing room that is with the Matt O'Neills. And listen, you're like my guy. You're swimming with the sharks every day.
Yeah.
Some days you're swimming with the sharks with a bloody tuna on your neck, it seems like, because, you guys are in the room where iron sharpens iron. But I have to say, I was really impressed with your performance against, Joe Bachman, who, is one of the top guys in the world, rated at your weight class, right? So what did you think of yourself in that performance? I personally think you should be proud of yourself. I know wrestlers are tough on themselves. They're their own worst critics. But how'd you feel about your match with Joe?
I thought I still got destroyed pretty hard, but it's either I could have, I think I gave everything I had, and we were scrapping pretty hard. I wasn't giving up any easy takedowns, and could either have a 2-0 match and go into the match knowing I'm gonna lose, or I can nobody's watching the quarters. I can try and get a few takedowns, try and actually beat him and give him a tough time instead of just keeping the match close like a lot of kids like to do.
Yeah, I mean, nothing came easy. He had to work for every point there. And I guess the reason I bring that up is a lot of kids your age shrink in that moment. They go, they read the stats, they hear the name, and they're like, some kids just lose before they get on the mat. But to me, you were scrappy, you were feisty, you didn't give up anything easy, even when the match was a little bit out of reach. What impressed me the most is that you just kept on coming. And to me, that's a huge feather in your hat there. And that's the kind of stuff that, because I saw your next match, I think you pulled it out with under 10 seconds left in the match. You got some dog in you, brother. And that's the stuff that elevates you to the next level. So what do you think? Are you pretty rough on yourself as a critic sometimes?
Yeah, I think like after the match, I was like, I shouldn't be getting teched, but like I also like my coaches said like, I was like scrapping pretty hard, and I'm not just there to stall, like I'm there to actually like try and win a match,
Right.
And then
So,
and my like that one match where you're talking about where I pulled it in the last 10 seconds,
right.
like that kid pretty tough, but like I shouldn't have been like first 30 seconds I got cradled, and I was down 7-0. So it's like now I just gotta fight back the whole match. It's like, I know I'm better than the kid, so I was like, yeah, I could just beat him, but I was thinking about the tech fall. I didn't get the tech fall, but I scored 9 points in like the rest of the match.
I mean, it's very important for a young wrestler to come back from adversity. I mean, a lot of kids down 7-0, they get up, they look over at the clock, they look at the scoreboard. They're like, man, that's a lot of points. But today, with the rule changes, a nice tilt and a takedown, boom, you're right back in it. So having that dog is really important. So, Shai, going forward, into the state tournaments and all that stuff, are you okay cutting weight? Is your weight under control by now? You having any issues with weight
Yeah, I
cuts?
mean, like at the start of the season, like it was kind of like tough, like just to get like in there. Like I was probably like cutting like not as much as most kids, but I was just like getting my kind of shrinking my body to the weight class, and now it's like really easy for me to make. It's like I just limit food for a few days, and then I'm like kind of on weight already.
All right. So going forward, are you so your weight is stabilized. Um,
Mhm.
your room is solid with partners. You have really good partners, and then you still go. So a lot of people don't do this, and there's a lot of high school kids. They just go to their high school practice. That's it. In season, do you still train at other facilities outside of high school just to stay sharp and pick up some new stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like I go to like the river, and then like obviously like I do some like stuff at home on my own, and like sometimes I'll work with like coaches after practice just to like get a little more out of the day.
So what? How would you describe Coach Staudenmayer's coaching style in the room?
Oh, I like it. Like I think both of them have like two completely different styles. So it's like, you know, um, well, Justin will kind of like wrestle with us. He'll like go hard on us and like really push us in live and everything. Like JM, just John Michael Stoudemire will walk around the room and like pick out little details, like pick out things that we did in our matches that we can work on like during the drill.
Well, I'll tell you, Justin has worked with my son with some privates. As a coach, he literally seems to, and I can't confirm this, refuse to give a takedown. He refuses to be taken down with you guys. I mean, is that one of your goals, like to maybe take this guy
Yeah.
down a couple times in a wrestle off?
I don't think I've ever taken down Coach Justin. Like I've gotten really close, but like he always like pulls something last second, and then I'll like get flipped on my back, and it's pretty tough. He goes hard on us.
So Shai, I'm looking at your record so far as a sophomore. Pretty impressive, man. I think 76-21. That's a lot of matches you have under your belt as a sophomore already. I mean, at this pace, you can have 140 wins in your high school career. Everyone's trying to get 100.
I'm trying to get 200.
You want to get 200?
Yeah, yeah, it's the goal.
It's totally achievable. So let me ask you this: at this point in the season, you're 38-8. You have over 40 matches already. People don't understand this wrestling world. 40 matches, and we're not to the state tournaments or the preps yet. That's a lot of wear and tear on your body. How's your body holding up during all this?
Like it's kind of like broken, like, everything hurts, but like throughout the week I'll try and like get like a little bit of recovery and like take like an Epsom salt bath and like everything just to like get my muscles back where they need to be for the next week. And like week we have a pretty light week, so it's like I think I'll be ready to go by the time like we roll around for the state tournament and everything in national preps.
So let me ask you this: in day two, you knew day one you were going to see Joe, and
I wrestled Joe in day two.
In day two, yeah. So day one, you knew you were going to see him in day two.
Oh yeah.
Had you not had you have to have somewhat of a comfort level. You guys roll around a lot. You have a lot of man hours together. Is there anybody of his caliber and his level that you would go into a little more uncertain than Joe? Like, you know his style, you know a little bit about him, but who else besides him have you come across that was kind of like in that upper 1% echelon that you had to scramble with or give you a hard time?
Yeah, so at Powerade, like I wrestled someone probably like not as good as Joe because Joe's like one of the best, but like I wrestled a kid and like his name's Sebastian De Janeiro, and he just like I wrestled, I got taken down, and then like I kind of got like exposed like everywhere. I just got tilted like 5 different times. I got teched in like a minute and a half. It's like now, but like if I think I wrestled him again, I don't think I would get teched. I think I would be like in the match just because like just a few adjustments I had to make, and just for that to happen.
Now, Shai, do you look at your matches, the ones that you lose, and you take the notes and you take them back in the lab and you work on how to not let that happen again, or what can I do better? How long do you bring that with you? Do you review the match the next day, take some notes, or does stuff stay with you for a while?
Yeah.
Or do you just
So like actually that my first loss of the season, like I've been just looking at that like very frequently because like I think that's a match that I can learn a lot from. Like I was beaten pretty hard in every position. It's like if I make adjustments against that kid, like I think it will just make me beat like a few more people. It'll just bring me up a lot in the rankings and everything.
Yeah, so being a former wrestler, as a former pro fighter, just some days in the gym, you feel like Superman. Some days in the gym, you're just off. A little things are off that in those sports, they add up to a lot of big things. Do you take that into account? Like just, all right, I didn't wrestle as good as I could have because I felt off, or I wrestled as good as I can. He was just that much better. Do you weigh some of that stuff when you critique yourself?
Yeah, I mean, like, in some of my losses, I know, like, I could have beaten the kid if I just wrestled better and, like, I had a better mindset going into it. And, like, obviously, like, I take that into account, but, like, I'm still making those mistakes in those matches. And it's like, now I got to think about, like, going into the match, like, how can I be, like, better prepared for the match? How can, like, my mindset be good? And, like, just so that, like, I can, like, be high, like, mentally on, like, that match and just, like, think the same for every match. And, like, so every match, like, looks the same,
Right. Shai, do you play any other sports?
No, I mean, I play video games.
You're a gamer, huh?
Yeah.
You're a year-round wrestler. Like wrestling's been your only sport your whole life, pretty much.
I mean, I used to play soccer when I was like little, and then I played football for like 2 years, but that's it.
All right, let's compare soccer and football, the mindset for those sports to the mindset of wrestling. Tell me the contrast in those.
Well, soccer and football, it's a team sport, so like you can rely on like other people to like help you, and it's like not the whole loss isn't on you. It's like, yeah, maybe you made like a bad play at the end that like costed the game, but like it's like the whole team's fault for losing the game. It's like, and also like you're mentally, it's like I feel like you're not as mentally challenged in those because like you have your teammates out there with you on your side who are also thinking the same thing. But like for wrestling, it's just you. It's like you got to blame everything on yourself. It's like there's nobody else to blame. You can't blame your teammates because they're not wrestling with you. You just got to think about the match yourself. Is like what can you do to win the match? Not you can't rely on anyone else but yourself.
And physically, I mean, there's probably no comparison. Wrestling's just a physically grueling sport, right?
Yeah, it's like sprinting for like 6 minutes. It's like using every muscle.
Right. People don't realize what wrestlers go through.
Yeah.
It really is combat. It's a combat sport, and you're already 40 plus matches into the season, coming into the most critical part, which would be your national preps. So, your wrestling style. Let's talk about that a little bit. Do you have a favorite wrestler that you like in your style too? Like, who's your favorite wrestler of all time or currently in college?
Well, I mean, it really like just depends. Like I like Austin DeSanto, like the way he wrestles, like just his mindset. Like you can tell his mindset. He just wants to smash everybody. But like also like the way Frank Chamizo wrestles, and like, you know, Jaden Cox. I think I wrestle pretty similar to them in my style.
So, of all of those guys, which one do you seem to wrestle more like? If you would pick one of them, or are they just different styles for like take top, bottom, neutral? Do you have a different?
Well, for folk style, probably Jesse Mendez. I like the way he wrestles a lot. Like I try and use a lot of the stuff he uses in his matches to like use in my own wrestling, and like, you know, that's probably someone I look up to a lot. I think he's probably one of my favorite wrestlers to watch and everything. I just like he's smooth everywhere. Like, yeah, it's probably my favorite wrestler too.
So how does I know you do some freestyle too. How do you feel? You feel freestyle makes you a better folk style wrestler? How do they complement each other?
I think freestyle, like, honestly, like, doesn't, like, in certain positions, freestyle's better, or doesn't help my folk style, like, because like I'm more comfortable like exposing my back and stuff during folk style and everything. But like when I get back into freestyle, like, you know, I gotta like be like really stingy about it, and it's like it's just hard to transition between both, because like when I go back to folk style, like I'm more stingy, and then like it kind of costs me positions because like I can't like do as much of the rolling and funk stuff I do anymore.
So Shai, if we're looking back at let's go to a 5 to 7 year old Shai, and you were looking forward to your high school career and the goals that you set for yourself, are you on pace for your personal goals so far in high school?
I don't even think I wrestled when I was 7, but when I was younger, yeah. I think there's more I can do. Like I want to be a national prep champ, and like I think I'm on pace to do that. I think by maybe next year or this year I can win preps. So I think I'm on pace to do that. And like I really want to like win like Escape the Rock, just because it's like a local tournament. Everybody knows about it. It's kind of big around here, and it's like cool just for like PA guys. He's like, yo, he's an Escape the Rock champ. Everybody knows what Escape the Rock is in PA.
Right.
So, yeah.
Hey, you're doing all this in the toughest wrestling state in the country.
Yeah.
Right? So Shai, what's your dream college, man? I mean, you're a sophomore now. You're gonna have to start peeking ahead to the future. Where would
Ohio
you
State.
like to wrestle?
Ohio State.
Ohio State, Buckeye, huh?
Yeah.
Nice. My favorite college too. I'm a big Buckeye fan. So, Shai, listen. Before we wrap here, if you're going to send a message to all the guys in your weight class at preps for this year, next year, and the next, what's one message you want to let them know? And don't say I'll be back, Arnold Schwarzenegger. You gotta come on. So, now, what's your overall goal? I mean, you want to own this division or what?
Like what I should say to them?
Yeah, if you're going to send a message to your opponents.
That it's coming for them. I'm coming for them.
And you're not outworked, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna outwork them.
So Shai, this is all year round for you, right? Summer, spring,
Yeah.
and fall. All wrestling all year long.
Yep.
Nice. All right, listen, Shai, appreciate you coming on the show, the National High School Wrestling Show. Listen, when you're big and famous, you win national preps, all that good stuff. Don't forget the little guys here that gave you the first shot at fame.
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck. Good luck the rest of the year, Shai. We'll touch back.
Right.
We'll see how you do with preps. All right.
Thank you for having me on.
All right, brother. Anytime. All right, there you have it, folks. We're going to wrap that tonight on the National High School Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Henry Racich. We will see you same time next week. Good night.
What if you could earn an MBA fully online in just 10 months for only $9,900? Eastern University's cutting-edge MBA in Organizational Management is designed to fit what you need in an MBA program. Our innovative LifeFlex model offers 100% online classes that you can complete at your own pace within each 7-week semester. We know how hard you work for your money, so we're thrilled to offer our MBA at only $9,900, making our program between 50 to 80% less expensive than most other schools, while ensuring quality and excellence with the support of our expert faculty. We even offer a concentration in business analytics, an essential skill set needed in today's data-driven economy. With start dates every 7 weeks, Eastern's MBA is handcrafted for you and your needs. So what are you waiting for? Apply today at eastern.edu/MBA.